Yeah, the biggest thing I'm proud of is like when we do rooftoping and like going in construction sites, we will never like break a door or like a window to get on the roof. Like if we can't open the door using the skills and tools we have, we will not like we won't kick the door, we won't touch it. We'll just walk away, take the L, go to the next building. There's hundreds of other buildings we could
Yeah,
get
yeah,
on
yeah.
top of if
I respect the code, fam. I like the
yeah.
code.
There's a lot of like rooftop photographers that they're roofless. They'll just blast that door down, But that's one thing I'm proud of is, respecting the door and
Yeah. Welcome to the It's Not That Deep podcast. I'm your host, Deepak Sharma, and today I sit down with Ions, or Ions the Goat, as I like to call him. That's also his Instagram handle for any of you guys who want to go check that out right now. He's a super interesting guy because he's a Polish Canadian, born and raised here in the city of Ottawa, and he kind of made a name for himself through playing Call of Duty. Believe it or not, he's one of the faces of Tap X, one of the YouTube channels that's garnered over 10 million views. This is incredible. And I think that page has over 80,000 subscribers now. He no longer controls that page, but he's a big part of its growth. He then joined the esports side of things as a designer, and he signed a deal a few months. He signed a deal a few months later to become a part owner of an organization owning the best H1Z1 roster. So I found that pretty cool too, talking about that side of things. And we also touch on his passion for photography. Now, Ions has a really badass Instagram page. If you check out Ions the Goat, you'll see a super unique page where these guys sneak into abandoned warehouses and rooftops and places that are really hard to get to, and construction sites and cranes, and just super unique stuff and really cool photography. And he's also built a very loyal following throughout all his different pursuits, and so he's got a pretty good grasp on social media. He's got a couple meme pages on the side that do really well. He's just an interesting guy. Ions has a lot going on, and I'm glad I got to sit down and chat with him, pick his brain a little bit. It was a great conversation, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope you do as well. And if you're getting any value from this kind of content, please consider contributing to my Patreon page, subscribing on all platforms where you consume podcasts. Leave me a rating, a like, a comment, share it with your friends, tell people about it. Let's get this thing to grow, man. And just remember, it's not that deep. I hope you enjoy. Ions the Goat, welcome to the It's Not That Deep podcast, baby.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for coming through. It's you're a very interesting guy. I only know you from social media, which is probably going to be like a big topic of this conversation as well. But you got a lot of cool shit going on, man. Let's take it back to your background a little bit. Tell us some big quick synopsis of your story, what you're all about.
So I started in pretty much going through high school. I was doing gaming. So I had a YouTube channel, and I was just posting 3, 4, 5 times a day on there through like all of high school until like probably even in college. So I did that for like 4 or 5 years, and then I went more into graphic design. And then now I'm doing, I guess, like photography and like content and like just Instagram and social media.
And you've certainly got it figured out, man. Let's take it back to the gaming a little bit. What kind of games were you super into, and like what were you dominant at?
It was strictly Call of Duty.
Strictly Call of Duty.
Until Fortnite came out like 2 years ago.
Right.
So it was strictly Call of Duty, strictly trapping. So we would spend like hours upon hours figuring out like how to manipulate the system.
Yeah.
And we'd have them spawning in one place and just like go for world records, like 500 kills, 600 kills.
Was this like Modern Warfare 2 kind of thing? Like, what are we talking about? Which Call of Duty? Which one did you really start out with?
I started in Modern Warfare 3.
Okay.
And then when Black Ops 2 came out, I kind of stayed on Modern Warfare 3 because I didn't like the game at first.
Right.
But like my teammates would be on that game and getting their records, and it was like a team channel that I like. So I had my own channel, but then Scatman. Shout out to Scatman. He gave me pretty much his life, and he's like, "Here, lead this empire." It had like I would say 20,000 subscribers at the time. He's like, "Here, take
Holy
this
shit.
and you carry on." And then so I carried on the channel
What
for.
makes someone want to do that? Just give up their like gaming clout like that? Like, what? Why did he just hand that over to you?
He's an older guy.
Uh,
Over time, gaming. I would say he's in his 30s, but he'd probably he's not in his 30s. He's just he's old. But
that's his like online age.
yeah. So it got boring for him over time, and he just
Fair
passed it
enough.
on, and then
Fair
I
enough.
passed it on.
That's super cool, man. I think at one point we've all been into games. I'm not a huge gamer, but there was a time in my life in high school where all I'd want to do is go home and play some Call of Duty. Me and my buddies would just get on there in a party. I wasn't very good, but
Hmm.
like, I had fun with it. It was always
Yeah,
a
that's
good
all that
time.
matters.
Yeah, yeah, it was just like, talking shit to people, being on there, trying to get the kill streaks, it's fun, man. It's like I don't care what people say. It's a good release.
Yeah,
And
true.
it's actually a social thing to do, even though it's not typically regarded as like a social thing to do, sitting in your room playing video games, right? But I think people are now starting to come around on that and starting to realize that, hey, gaming's so much more than that. Like, it is so much deeper than that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Especially like esports too. There's a lot of like money to be made and business like stuff going on like over there. So
Absolutely, man. Esports is huge. I can't even comprehend. Like, they have these massive tournaments now where like millions of dollars are won. Wasn't there just like a Fortnite World Cup or
yeah,
something where someone won like I don't know how many
three
million?
$3 million, 17 years old or some booga.
Bro, this
That's-
this is this is bigger than athlete money. But like, I'm not trying to diminish it in any way. It's not that it requires like less skill or anything, but it's just in a different arena.
yeah,
And it's hard to comprehend sometimes for people who have the old school mindset of just like, go get a job. What are you doing wasting all this time with these dumbass video games? But it's a viable career option in
for sure.
2019, man, and like lucrative if you're really good at it.
Yeah,
How
true.
do you get really good at it? How do you know if you're cream of the crop?
To get good, I would say like watch like the top, like the best of the best, and learn from them, and just like play the game a lot, put hours in. Like these pro gamers, they put like 10, 15 hours into the game that they're playing. So
Yeah,
it's not something you
a
just go on
day.
for. Yeah, it's not something you go on for an hour and you get off and you're like, yeah, I'm good. No,
Yeah,
it takes
but
time.
but I mean, like the weird thing for me about that whole thing is like, how are you taking care of your body when you're doing that? How can you be getting enough physical exercise, proper nutrition, moving around, and just like being a human being when you're sitting in an environment playing a video game for that long?
Well, once the contract's signed, that doesn't matter. You're
Yeah.
getting millions anyways.
No,
So
but you don't just wake up one day and get millions. Like you said,
yeah,
like you got to put the work in, and there's no guarantee. It's just like being like a top professional athlete. Like, you got to put those hours in, that practice in, and like you're saying, watching these videos about it. Like, this is where like you lost me, like me personally. I've never like sat there and watched another person play a video game on YouTube,
really.
but I know so many people that do for hours on end. I just don't. It just doesn't interest me like that.
Mhm.
But I know so many people who will just watch Fortnite videos or Call of Duty videos and montages of this and like 360 no scope doing this, like just crazy bullshit. And like, it never interested me, but like, there's millions of subscribers, like you said, and people going on YouTube and just dedicating their life to learning more and like trying to get better. And I don't even know, like, I'm speaking for them, but I've never done it, right? Like, what are you really getting out of watching someone else play?
Just like entertainment, I guess. Like
Fair enough.
I don't know. Everyone's different, right? Me, I watch people like to be entertained.
Right. And like, you got their little face in the corner doing the commentary. I mean, probably the only video I've ever seen was the ninja one, playing Fortnite with Drake.
Okay, okay.
That's literally like that. It's like that world crossed into mine, and I watched that, and I was like, this is cool. People are doing this. People are watching people play Fortnite and loving it, and it's just interesting to me. But I still I still don't do it. It's just not for me, but it's really cool.
Speaking
Uh,
of Ninja, I actually bet Ninja 2017 before he was big.
oh
So
yeah.
it's, big clout. That's
No,
cool.
that's pretty hype, man. I'd be super hyped on that. That's like me meeting like Tom Brady or something. Like that's like up on a pedestal. He's probably the most recognized
One of them.
gamer in like one of the most recognized gamers in the world. What are some of the other like big names like for people who don't know anything about this?
In gaming, like I'd say Tfue, Cloaksy, um, like Nick Merckx, and just I don't. There's a lot of big entertainers, but I'd say those three are the biggest.
So excuse me. So when you went from just casually gaming to actually getting into esports, what was that transition like, and how do you, if you did, how do you try to get paid doing that?
So the transition before I went from like YouTube to esports, there was like graphic design in between. Like
Okay, let's
so,
talk about that a bit.
so I went to actually Algonquin for design studies, and then I was gonna go into graphic design, and then I just withdrew because I was like, because I actually signed a contract like before my courses started. So I was like, why am I going to school when I already have like a graphic design like like career pretty much.
Right.
So I signed that contract, and then
But tell us what that contract a bit. What was it like? What was it for?
okay, so it's for Impact Gaming, an esports organization. At the time, it had the best H1Z1
Okay.
roster, which is a battle royale game like Fortnite.
Right.
Um, so it was like a mid. It's not an org anymore. It was like mid tier, but it had like the best team for that esport. So I signed a contract with them for as a graphic designer, a 2-year contract. I can't really go over like much
No,
detail
no,
on
no. That's
that.
that's cool. That's cool.
But then over time, I actually went. They flew me out to DreamHack Atlanta, where I actually met Ninja. And then there we spoke about just business stuff, and I ended up being a co-owner.
Sweet.
So I went from a graphic designer to a co-owner,
In what business?
and just like esports,
Just like 100% of what? Like
like
what?
the whole business,
The whole business.
yeah,
Okay, that's super interesting,
like the
man.
organization.
That's super cool, and that's the organization that you initially signed a contract to just be part of, but
Yeah,
then you got equity.
yeah.
That's really cool, man. So, and this is all just playing. This is all just from playing, going on YouTube, getting noticed that way, building a community there, and then networking. How does this work? Like, how do you get from that? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are good at playing video games,
Hmm.
but then how do they get into the next level?
I guess it would be networking. I just talking to people,
Yeah,
that would just networking, talking to people, and there's it's online. There's money to be made everywhere online. So
that's very true, man. And you know a thing or two about that because
yeah.
you've explored a few different avenues. We'll get into all that, but I still want to stay on this gaming thing for a bit. What'd you call it, hackathon or what was
DreamHack
Dream
Atlanta.
DreamHack? Talk to me about that experience. That must have been super cool going down there and seeing a lot of like-minded individuals.
Yeah, so we had a mansion like 22 rooms for like a month. It was only like a 3-day event, but we booked it for a whole month because that actually Airbnb it was only like a month like minimum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One of
So
those.
so we ended up staying a month, which was actually amazing because I actually got to like do more than just game.
Yeah.
It was actually funny because the owner of the organization actually booked my flight early, so I had to like get a hotel for a day because we
You had
didn't.
to be humble for a bit before staying
Yeah.
in this fucking mansion.
So yeah,
That's great.
it was like a nightmare, but it ended up being good.
That's interesting,
That was my
man.
first time actually traveling alone too.
And so when you got there and like how many people are there and like what kind of people are there? Do you have to be part of some established, like you had to get invited to go to this thing, or can you just show up?
Like you could show up to watch and stuff. You could buy like day pass. It's like I think of it like a music concert, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, okay,
So
okay.
it's like a big venue of just games. There's not just like one game. There's like there's like multiple games like CS:GO, Halo at the time was there, and
Yeah.
just it's just a bunch of
Across all kinds of platforms. And what was your platform of choice? Would you play on?
It was I was H1Z1 at the time.
H1? No, but like what? Like, did you play on like the
Oh, you're talking.
PC
Okay, okay.
or console or like what? What did you? What would you?
So H1Z1 was played on the computer, but
Yeah.
when I was doing YouTube, I was on the Xbox One and 360.
Interesting, man. So you were always more of an Xbox than a PlayStation kind
Nah,
of guy.
I hate PlayStation.
You hate PlayStation?
Yeah, yeah.
Explain that. Why? Why you team
Just the
Xbox?
controller is just too skinny for me. I like the fat one, you
Fair
know?
enough, man. I've been on both sides of it because growing up, I like the first console, like the legit console that I ever got was an Xbox, the original one, the fat fucking thing.
Yeah, the fat black.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I remember it came. There wasn't a bundle, but it just gave you Halo. And imagine that was like that was the first game I ever got. And I remember going to, I think it was Future Shop with my dad, and just begging him I just need this Xbox. Like please, it comes with this game. And he's looking at us like, what is this? What is this bullshit, man? This is fucking. Why you play games? Go study. Like I'm like no, like I need this. I need this. I got the Xbox with the Halo, and that like opened up a world for me, man. That was like the first game like I really got to play and enjoy. And I was an Xbox guy. I loved the controller. I got big ass hands. It just fit. It just felt so good. And then so I got the 360 when that came out. So but all my friends had PS2 or PlayStation 2, and I'm like whenever I'd go play with the tiny little I like my hand was just it didn't fit over this controller. I was like I hate this. Like you guys don't even have triggers. Like it's not the same, you know.
Yeah.
And then but then I got the PS4 instead of getting the Xbox One. And like I think this is actually pretty common. A lot of people kind of made that switch from 360 to PS4, and I don't know. I just kind of got used to it. But if you got that preference, I always find it interesting.
Yeah.
You know what console do people like ride for?
I
You
feel
know?
like it's 50-50 though for the most part.
It is, and then there's a lot of like cross-platform stuff they're like working on and stuff too, right? Have you heard any like rumors about when the like next big console's coming out?
There's
Like
a PlayStation 5 coming out at 2020 holidays.
2020 holidays, so about like a year and a bit from now.
Hmm.
I'm interested to see what that's gonna bring in store. Like, what's gonna be the big draw on this? Like, is it just gonna be a better machine, super fast, this and that, or are they gonna have some VR component or something like that built in? I'm not sure. It seems pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll have to see, I guess.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It's all just rumors at this point.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, so talk to me about like your initial passion for video games and stuff a little bit more, and then how did that kind of die off or like transition? So you got out of the YouTube game, and then how did it go from there? Like, tell the story.
So it's really just to kill time because during high school I was suspended a lot. I was a troublemaker. I'm just a shit poster online, so I got in trouble a lot.
Yeah,
So I had like so much time to like on my hands when my mom was working. I would sit at home like, what do I do? I'm gonna play video games, and then I just got good, I guess, by playing it like a lot.
yeah,
And then it died out just cause like better options came like over time, and
yeah. So what did you do with the YouTube page or anything like
so I
that?
just passed it on. Like it got passed to me, so I just passed it on.
Just keep passing the torch, huh? Do you still ever check up on it, see how it's doing?
It has like 80,000 subscribers now, I think.
That's incredible.
I gave it away around like 65, 66
When was this? How long ago was that?
3 years ago, I'd say.
Okay. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty interesting that like you could be so not selfish about something like that, because a lot of people would probably protect that like it's their baby. Like I built this, I built this up, I made this big, and you can kind of get attached to the numbers a little bit. A lot of people do, so it's kind of cool that you're just able to just done with this, move on to the next thing.
To be fair, it wasn't like fully mine, you
No,
know?
no,
So,
fair enough.
so it was like, yeah. And I also had my personal numbers as well to go with it. So it was like, I still had something. I wasn't giving away like everything.
And so what was the, I mean, not transition, but what was the big draw for you about graphic design?
So during my time with YouTube, I was doing like thumbnails for like my team,
Right.
like YouTube thumbnails, and then over time I just like branched out to do like bigger projects, and then I wanted to go to school, but I didn't know what to go to school for. But I was like, I play a Photoshop almost every day. Might as well like try that out. So took design studies, which is like a 1 year course. It's just like a random like shitty course. I don't recommend it at all. It's a waste of money.
Okay.
So I did that for a year just to like, I don't know, just to do something, make my mom happy a little bit, shut her up for a bit. Um, and then I
As
applied.
most of us do.
Yeah. Um, so then I applied for graphic design. I applied, did my portfolio. I got accepted, and then I just withdrew because I ended up signing a contract with Impact Gaming, as I mentioned,
Mhm.
and then haven't been to school since.
Yeah, just fuck it. Don't need it.
It's not. Some people need it, some people don't. You know, some people get lucky, others don't.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And so, with with like graphic design in that aspect, though, you still use it to this day. You still use the Photoshop to edit photos, and we'll get into photography and all that. But, um, what would you recommend someone do if they want to explore, graphic design, but they don't exactly know how to get into it? What are some online resources or something like that? Would you recommend that, like being self-taught?
Yeah, being self-taught for sure. I think that's the best way. I don't think an artist could teach another person how to create art. I think it's just something that happens over time. If you're creative, you'll be creative. If not, then it's just not meant to be.
Yeah, I get it. I like that a lot. I mean, that's something that I suck at. When I started this whole podcast thing, I've never really thought of myself to be as like that creative of a person. That's changing a little bit, when I'm starting to kind of unlock some areas of my mind a little bit. But one thing that I fucking struggled with is the thumbnails, like you mentioned, like just the basic design work for every episode that I have to put out. Like, I know nothing about that stuff. It was completely foreign to me. I use Canva.com.
Never even heard of it.
It's literally just like this, like, not even. It's like a light Photoshop online. So I don't even want to like get into trying to learn Photoshop. It just seems like this big thing over there.
It really isn't though.
I know. It's just like so much to me to like invest into learning right
Hmm.
now. It's like, that is too deep. Like, I can't go too deep into that right now. But it's really interesting how much of a difference it makes. The first thumbnail I made was so shitty, and like I just keep getting a bit better and bit better at just removing things and just making it more simple and a little more eye catchy, and just playing with the photos, and I'm starting to learn about the saturation and this and just different things you could do to make photos pop and look better. But I mean, that leads me into photography. Talk to me how you got into photography, and what made that a passion of yours.
I don't even know how I got into it. I know that I know the first time I shot was August 2018. I don't know why I wanted to shoot. I think I just like I was growing on Instagram for some reason. That I was like, and I wasn't even posting. So I was like, I might as well do something with this like growth and like see where it
And this is
goes.
just people who knew you from other
Yeah,
avenues.
yeah, like gaming, graphic design, and then I ended up like somehow I was in like the OG community with like the nice usernames. So like somehow I got into there and I was just growing. People were spamming my photos. I had like 5 photos at the time. I'm like, let me get some good quality in here, you know?
Yeah.
And I ended up shooting
So
my
take it
first.
back a bit though. Did you buy new cameras for all this? Did you like make the investment before you knew you liked
No, so what I
photography?
did, my first shot, I ended up paying a photographer, a local photographer, to shoot like for me. I still don't have my camera. I still don't have a camera to this day. I just have like a little group of friends that we kind of just like shoot each other.
Dope. That's a
And
smart way to do it.
so yeah, I ended up paying a photographer. I was like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, but like here's money. Just shoot some shit, and if it's good, it's good. I'll post it, whatever. Like
Dope. So you knew you had the foresight to see that, like, yo, I should do something with this. Pay someone for their work, which I saw recently posted something. Pay people for their work. I'm a big believer in that too. You like, if someone's doing something for you, don't just get it done for free.
mhm.
Like, unless they're really willing to do it and offer to do it, that's different. But like, if you want something done, give people money for their services. But so, what are those first photos like? Like, what you get done?
So I just went like in my neighborhood. There's like a construction site like working behind. It's still working behind me. So I ended up just going there because I was lazy at the time. I'm like, I didn't want to move much. You know, I just wanted to like stay at home, make money. But I was like, all right, here, let's link up here. Let's make it work. And it was cool, I guess, for a first shot. It wasn't nothing like crazy,
Yeah.
but there was like a lot of like construction fences, and like the orange went well with my hair, and it's just like, you know, it was what it was. I definitely my content's gotten better, like way better over the last 2 years. So
And that sparked an interest in you to continue pursuing kind of unorthodox shots, to say
yes,
the least. Like, if anyone goes to your Instagram, we'll plug it right now. Ion's the goat. Um, if you go to that page right now, which like really caught my eye when I first creeped you, is like, oh wow, these are like cool, funky shots and like rooftops and like abandoned warehouses, construction sites, like with kind of like eerie vibes almost. It's just like, yo, these are kind of just like dark, cool photos. Like they're really unique and I like them a lot. I'm a huge fan. So that's why I had to get you out here, man. Let's talk about what made you choose this. I don't want to call it niche, but this kind of area of photography. What really stuck with you about doing that?
I feel like I was at my like peak of like content. Like I was just posting like shit other people were posting, and it's like you're not gonna grow like because like I'm not a model, right? So like if like say a model posts what I'm posting, obviously people are gonna go like his shit because he looks better than me type of shit. So I was like, I gotta like think, I gotta think like stuff no one else is like, or not that many people is doing because everything's been done, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta, I was like, I gotta think like outside the box and just like do shit not many people are. So my first adventure was like my first like major adventure, I'd say like that like put me outside of the box would be under a bridge. I went under Alexander Bridge with Stefan and Alex, Discover Ottawa.
Okay.
Um,
We'll
eh,
tag them below.
yeah, and so that was my first like that was my first like big, I guess exploration. And then from there we ended up doing like big stuff like the tallest building in Ottawa. Man, the list goes on.
Man,
We've done a lot. We've went under the LRT before it was like running. We went under the $200 million sewage system under Parliament.
nice.
Just every everything pretty much that has been
Talk to
done.
me about how do you get to these places? Who comes up with the idea? What is it that you like? You're just sitting in a room one day and you're like, let's just go under Parliament, and you just find a way and just go.
Honestly, like the way you word it is pretty much like how it goes. Obviously, there's like some skill and like some luck in between,
Yeah.
but for the most part, it's like, I this has been abandoned for 2 years. No one's been here. Let's try to get in here.
How do you
Um,
identify what's abandoned and what's not? How do you know if there's not security? Do you scope it out? Are you staking these places out? Are you doing your research? What's the like? Give me the process a bit, man.
there's some research, but like not. It's not too deep, you know. Um,
I love it.
so we it's luck. Like we go there to the security. All right, well we take the L. We walk away. We try a different building or whatever. But for the most part, we definitely have a good percentage of like walking into a building. Like our luck cards are pretty good.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of times where like security caught us, and like it's
And
a
did you,
walk of shame. But
or do you ever have to run away or run of shame, or you
uh,
usually just eat it and just like, sorry, we'll get out of here.
it depends. Like some securities that like care like a lot about their job, and they're like grumpy and mad and stuff. But like some are like, you know, cool and stuff like we Alex and I hit a building on Saint Laurent. I'm not gonna say the exact building because I don't want the security did a good job and I don't want him to lose his job.
Yeah.
But we were there at night. It was a high security building, I would say. And we were just chill. It was raining, so we had all our like stuff just lounging in the like elevator room. It was like we lived there pretty much. Our shit was everywhere.
Yeah.
and we were there for like an hour, I'd say. And then as soon as we wrapped it up, we're opening the roof door to get into like the elevator room, and the security guy's like, "Whoa, what the hell? I haven't seen anyone up here my whole life working here for like 18 years." I was like, "Oh." And then he's like, "How'd you get up here?" And then we showed him like how we got up, and he was like, "All right, that's
He
cool."
almost respected it.
Yeah, he's like, "Whoa, what the?" We scared him more than he scared us.
He's like, I haven't had to actually do any work for the last 20. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's too funny. I like that a lot, man. So you just find these places, you go. Talk to me about the process of getting these amazing shots. Is it like you just taking a million photos and then later reviewing later, or is it more just like I kind of know what I want beforehand and then take a few shots and just leave?
A lot of times we have an idea of what we want to shoot, and we focus on that one shot. But sometimes it's just random. We'll, like sometimes like we went into like a storage unit building not too long ago, and we didn't know what was inside, right? So we can't really plan out a shot when we don't know like what's inside. So
I saw that. Was that storage building had security or no?
Uh, it had it had an armed security system, but it did. I don't like it had security and cameras. We ended up taking the cameras off,
Okay.
and then when we got in the building, we realized that it wasn't even the camera wasn't even recording anywhere. So it
Oh,
was just
okay.
it was just
It was
on
just
in
there.
there. Yeah, it was just on in there.
So you pick up on these kind of these like I don't know secrets of the trade, what doing what you've been doing for a while, and it's not just that you're going into these random buildings and stuff. Sometimes you're doing some crazy badass shit like going on rooftops, and like if anyone goes to your Instagram right now, like I'll pull it up, that you're just sitting on ledges and like up on rooftops and like really really cool photos, man. Like I enjoy this shit, but like, are you mostly focused on just trying to get the most badass shot possible, or like just walk me through like what are you really trying to achieve with each shoot?
It's more for like I'd say the adventure and like the adrenaline more than like the shot itself.
Okay, more
Ob-
of the process than the outcome.
yeah, obviously, like we like a lot of the stuff we do, we don't even get like a good shot out of it. It's just we did it. Yes, like no one's done this. Pog.
But what
But
determines a good shot versus a shot? It's all subjective, right?
yeah, it's what we think, I guess. We all have our different opinions on a good shot and a bad shot.
Yeah.
So,
So, but sorry to interrupt you. What were you saying before that?
like sometimes we sometimes like we focus on a shot, but other times it's just like for like the adventure itself, like just doing it.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. I'm super interested by that because um, no one does it.
Not that many. A lot of people do it, just not like especially in the city. Not that many do it. There's like a handful of people, if that.
Why do you think that is? Is it just like speaks for like the city itself and Ottawa kind of just like not a very risk-taking city, kind of sleepy, or do you just think like what you're doing itself is just not done in too many places?
I feel like people say there's not a lot of things in Ottawa, but there definitely is. You just gotta like think of them. There's like the city's beautiful. There's a lot to it.
Yeah,
It just people are comparing it to like major cities,
yeah.
like compared to like a smaller city like similar size, and it's gonna
It's an
win.
amazing city.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's a great perspective right there, man. A lot of people don't like comparing down. They always compare up, and that's humbling, man. Ottawa's a great city if you look at it for what it is. But people just want to be negative all the time. You were born here,
Yeah, born here.
okay, but you come from a Polish background.
Yeah, my whole family's Polish.
Your whole family's Polish, and so have you visited
I've
Poland?
never been to Europe at
You've
all.
never been to Europe? Oh man, I can't wait to see you go to Europe. The kind of shots you're gonna get there, bro. That's gonna be insane. Cause the buildings are on a whole different level. There, the architecture. I mean, not to talk down on Ottawa, but it's just not.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just not of the same magnitude. Some of the places down there, like you're gonna see some like talking about abandoned, like but like ancient, and at the same time, and like lots of cool stuff there, man. I really like it, man. Where are you trying to go with the photography, man? What are you trying to do with it?
I think I honestly, I want to start posting more. It's just hard for me. I'm very picky and like, I just gotta post more, man. That's like my biggest problem right now is like, I like honestly, I don't care about growing because like I have a strong like fan base as is, and I feel like no matter what I post, they're gonna support me. But I just like I'm in my head. I'm just like I gotta post nothing but the best, and like the shot gotta be better than my last one and my last one, and I don't know. I feel like,
I can
eh.
understand that mentality, man.
But I gotta start posting more. I told myself last year I'd post more, and this year I posted less than last year, so
Interesting.
it's pretty bad.
Well, what people don't realize, it's a whole process.
Hmm.
It's not just click and shoot a photo and now you got this amazing image that you could just post. You could just throw up on Instagram and stuff and it's all good, you know what I'm saying? But um, talk to me about your editing process, because to me, I bought a camera once. I thought, you know what? I'm going to get into photography. I'm going to do this. And I took the camera with me on my international exchange. I studied in Norway for 6 months and got to travel a lot and took a lot of great photos. To this day, I never combed through those thousands of photos because I'm just
Really?
too lazy. I straight up, to this day, my parents haven't seen, like, and that was in 2017. No one's seen those photos because they're just sitting on my external hard drive, just like I'll get to them. I never got to them. It's just it's such a daunting task. It's like there's so many. I don't even know where to start. I'd have to spend a day just deleting the bad ones.
Yeah, yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
I'd have to, like, what's your process? What's editing like for you, and like how do you deal with that?
So I pretty much spend a day looking at like I pick like five shots that are like high quality, like the better ones of that whole shoot, and then I'll send those to like girls that like support me like a lot, and I'll be like, "Alright, what ones do I look less ugly in?" type shit, and they're
I
like,
think we all got a girl who fucking does that for us, man. It's
yeah.
like, please help.
Girls are a lot of help.
They are, man.
They're phonogenic at like heart. So like I send it to like not one girl, I send it to like six, seven,
Damn,
and I get like a
alright.
lot of opinions.
Hard ions. The
Hey
man.
man, I don't got a girlfriend. I could do that.
Yeah, facts.
Um, so yeah, I do that first, and then I'll gather like what one like they think is better, and then I'll just spend like a day editing that pretty much. And
Okay.
so I have my
A
like
day editing. So,
well,
like, what are you doing to these?
not a full
Yeah,
day,
yeah, yeah.
but
But, like, you're going to focus on these few photos or whatever for that
mhm,
day.
yeah, yeah.
And what are you doing to make, I mean, you don't have to give away your secret, but what are you doing to really make these photos look amazing? What are some of the things? And I won't follow you because I have no idea about any of this shit. But for anyone interested out there, like, what are some of the things you do to make these photos pop and stand out?
Honestly, like I have my like preset in like colors that I just like slap on. But there is like stuff like if there's like a glare or something, I'll try to like minimize that. Like, and it depends on the shot. Like every shot's gonna be different, and editing is gonna be different on them. But I do all my
Depending
editing.
on the light and so many other
Yeah,
factors.
so I do most of my editing on Photoshop on my computer, and then I'll transfer it to my phone. And there's this free app I encourage everyone to download. It's called Photoshop Express.
Okay.
And I do a lot more editing on that than like actual Photoshop on like Photoshop on my computer. I'll just like toss my preset on it, save it, email it to myself, download it on my phone, and then I'll do like most of the other editing on my phone.
That's a great tip. I'm gonna download that app. One thing that you mentioned there that I find super annoying is the whole transferring of files. It just seems like there should be a better way.
Well, I think if you have a MacBook, like a laptop,
AirDrop.
you could AirDrop it to yourself.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love AirDrop. That's been a game changer for me.
There's definitely faster ways to do it. I think I'm just like used to like my way. I'm fast at doing it my slow way. I
Fair
just
enough.
mastered that.
No, I'm the same way for a lot of things. I know there's a better, faster way to do it, but I'm just gonna do it
You're
my
just
way because,
stubborn, huh?
yeah, I'm just stubborn. Like for example, I'm such a deadbeat when it comes to saving stuff onto my desktop. You're not supposed to save stuff on your desktop, but I save it onto my because it's just I know where it's gonna be, and I always find it because it's always on my desktop. But then what happens? I forget it on my desktop. Next thing you know, I got a million things on my desktop, and now it's just like defeated the whole purpose of a desktop. So it's like one of those things. Like I know I should be putting things in folders and naming them right, but meanwhile, I'll just fucking just
It's just
type
a
bunch
lazy
of
way to do it at the
yeah.
time. You're just like, I'll get to it
I'll get to it
eventually.
later. I never get to
There's
it.
no later.
There's no later. I never get to these things, man. There's so many little like habits that like I wish I could tell younger me like, hey man, be a little bit more organized about this because this is gonna waste like thousands of minutes and hours of your life, you know. But whatever. It is what it is. Um, so with photography, and using social media and stuff, you talk about you have a very loyal following. You see that you have, I mean, I see that you have hundreds of people commenting on your shit, and like you said, you don't even post that much. So, how often do you want to post, and what do you think is a good number of posting? And because there's no magic answer to this, but what do you think you'd be comfortable with?
I feel like right now I'm posting once a month and I'm averaging 1,000 comments a post. So if I post twice a month, if I do the quick math, I should be getting 500 comments on each post, like roughly, I'd say. Maybe more, maybe less. I want to start posting twice a month. It just, I don't know. Winter's here, and last year I shot more in winter than summer. So if I get a lot of content this winter, I could start. I have a lot of like stuff in my back pocket from like when I first shot. I still have like this insane tunnel shot that I shot with Steph. My first time meeting him, we ended up exploring this like sewage system under a new co-op that was being built. Um, and I still have that from like August 2018, and no one's seen it yet.
That's awesome, man. So that's a big that speaks to having like a big backlog, and you could still not repurpose, but you could go back and still use those and still have enough. I mean, you probably have enough content to post once a day, but like you said, it's like it's going back to what you want to
Yeah.
put out and how often you want to put out. So I mean, I'm excited to see you post twice a month. That'd be hype. But at the same time, with social media, it's such a weird game, man. Because like, how often should you post? Does it even matter if you post or not?
It depends
Like,
on what you want. Like if you want to grow, I feel like posting like twice a week is what you gotta do.
yeah,
But if you're just trying to like just post, I feel like whenever is just post whenever you want to post. Don't make it a job.
yeah,
It's something you gotta enjoy. So just like don't think too hard about it. Don't think too deep.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it all depends. Like businesses, I encourage them to like post every day, like sometimes even twice a day,
yeah.
especially on their story. You want to spam that like hundreds of times a week. But yeah, businesses, they should be posting every day on their page. As like personal, I'd say like twice a week if you're trying to grow, but like whatever if you don't really care about growing.
And you have more than one page. Let's talk about your meme page for a second, and so any other pages I might not know about. Because although you've mentioned to me the followers or the basic metrics you'd see, that a person outwardly looking in would see don't look that big. I think it's a couple thousand followers or something like that. The reach is insane. Talk to me about that a little bit, and why do you think that is?
I feel like I'm just strong with like my hashtag and hitting explore page almost every time on my post. So I feel like followers, like I feel like I hate when businesses look at followers because like followers mean nothing. It's just a number. I feel like engagement is what they should be looking at, but they can't really see that, right? So
Right.
it's hard for them to see that. But yeah, my meme page, it has like 1% of like my main page following, and it keeps up there with like impressions and stuff. Yeah, it's a lot. When I was using my meme page like daily and like weekly, I was getting like almost 1 million impressions a
That's
week.
nuts, man.
Yeah,
People just love fucking memes.
it's
People
good.
just love memes, bro. People eat this shit alive. People live for this stuff. I don't care about the face behind it, though. That's the thing, you know. But
Yeah,
like you mentioned to me, it's one of the easiest things to monetize in terms of like an Instagram account. If we're just focusing on
yeah,
Instagram for a second, when I'm talking about social media, there's a lot more than just Instagram, but
hmm
I'd say that's probably one of the most popular right now in terms of sharing photos and stories and whatnot, right?
yeah.
Why is it that memes just hit the core of people? Why are they so relatable? Why does everyone love memes so much and
I don't.
spreading them?
I don't know. Like for business, I think people go to them because they have like the highest like impressions and like they'll gain the most from it. I feel for like their money. Why people like memes? I don't know. Everyone has a personality, I guess, and just wants to laugh.
Yeah.
There's people that follow like thousands of meme pages,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I
it's
had to unfollow most of them just because
really,
I felt like for me, uh, I'm already mindlessly scrolling through social media, right? And these are my friends and family. These are people that I care about.
yeah.
And then I see like a Daquan or like a like I don't know, one of these fucking grape juice boys or whatever, just
Mhm.
random meme pages, and I'm just like I can't stop. And
Yeah.
I'm sending them to all my friends and just like 10 different group chats, gotta see this. And like you go deep into this world and it's just like I don't need this. This is not actually
You're
doing
just
anything.
wasting time.
I'm just wasting time. This is just garbage for my brain. And it's not to talk down on anybody. I'm guilty of it too, right? But it's just like, oh God, man, like I don't need this. I had to unfollow pretty much all of them. There's like one or two I kept around on like a different account if I
Okay, yeah.
need that dose.
Yeah.
if
If you
I
want to laugh, you'll switch to that account.
I'll go to that account and just switch and just like, this is great. But I just, it's too much, man.
Yeah.
There's too much commanding my attention as it is,
And they
man.
post too much too, right?
Oh, so much, and half of it's sponsored ads now too, because they monetize,
Yeah,
which
they gotta eat.
they gotta eat too. They gotta eat too. I get it,
Mm.
man. I like the hustle, but it's just what a time to be alive, man. With social media, and just the power of the internet. You like a lot of these forums and Reddit and 4chan and all these different places where like people are shit posting and normal posting and talk about their normal daily lives. And I think one of the biggest things for me, like the most positive things about this time, is the communities. It's like there's something for everybody out there. Everybody can find something that like they can relate with online, and I think that's so powerful. But then there's obviously the dark sides of it, when you're comparing yourself to other people, or you're spending, I mean, I don't know if you use the screen time app on your phone, on iPhone. It literally tells you how much time you're spending on each
10
app.
hours a day on Instagram.
Dude, that's rough. That's too much, right?
Not
That's
enough.
I don't know. That's what some people say. It's like, nah, man, make it 12. Like, you got to keep going. But no, that can't be good for you. I don't care how important your business or your brand or growth is. Like, but I'm getting up there, man. I'm like 3, 4 hours a day just like, scrolling, posting, just doing dumb bullshit. Like, man, what are the long term impacts of this? We don't know yet. Like, we just don't know. We know that it's linked to mental illness. We know that it's, we have a serious problem with like children just looking at iPads because that's an easier way to parent your kid. Here, just play Angry Birds or some bullshit. It's like, dude, I get it, but like what we don't know is the long term impacts of that. Like, what is that creating? Like, people aren't going outside as much. People aren't doing what you're doing and like exploring. Like, how many people do you know like go and just explore without like a purpose or something they gotta do? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's weird. It's a weird time to be alive, but also an amazing time to be alive.
For sure, yeah,
Yeah.
some.
Talk to me about what you feel about like some of these impacts of social media. What do you think about like some of the pros and cons about it?
The pros, I'd say there's a lot of money to be made like on social media. Like there's like everything you could think of, you can make money. Like for example, I know a friend that makes $500 a day selling like feet pictures that aren't even his. Like there's money. Like that's just one example. Like I don't even want to know what like people are doing. This
Oh,
is crazy.
yeah, no, you're right, man. I mean, it allows for a lot of people to hustle in completely different ways. It allows this to be possible, right? I wouldn't have ever met you.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably not, unless I was just chilling under a bridge or some shit.
On a rooftop, dude. Security.
Right? But like that's why I mean the podcast wouldn't be possible. A lot of things wouldn't be happening without the internet. So I love it. I'm just wary of some of the things you see when I'm just walking down the street and it's like people walking into my car because they're on their phone, or like You ever go to a bathroom and like you go to take a piss and like dude next to you is full out just on his phone, like while holding his dick with his other hand. Like, bro,
Put it
could
down
could
for a minute.
put it down for like 10 seconds. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. It's just I don't. I'm just really wondering and curious about the future. Maybe I watch too much Black Mirror, but I don't know. It's just like it's weird. It's weird a little bit. Like people don't gotta just get off it from time to time.
It's
Go
hard though.
go
I
for a
used to be like
hike.
that. I used to like shake a lot when I didn't have my phone because I don't have data or no service.
Uh huh.
So like when I left my house, there was times where I'm like just shaking. Like I'm like, wow, I gotta go home like now. Like this is bad.
Oh yeah, man. I know the exact feeling, and for me, like, I really woke up to it when I was in Greece, I believe, and my phone screen had cracked, and then the phone completely bricked and just stopped working, and I remember just being in a foreign country, not being able to read the language, not being able to know where I am, my position on the earth. Like I didn't have a GPS. Like up until then, I've had a GPS always in my pocket,
Yeah.
while traveling at least. I didn't have music to listen to on a bus. I just felt like this weird sadness. I was just like, bro, this kind of sucks. But then after like a day, I felt great. I'm talking to random strangers. Like, I'm trying to learn how to read street signs. I bought a compass to know how to read a map because I learned maps are pretty useless if you don't know which direction you're going. Like, dude, I just figured things out and I had a great time and I did so many things that I would have never done otherwise. And I just I found it like, it really opened my eyes. But granted, the first thing I did when I got home is I bought a,
A new phone.
bought a new phone, got right back on the wagon. But it just woke me up. It just made me think like, yo, I'm addicted to this device. Think of how much I'm missing while doing this, while just looking down at a screen. So it's beautiful. Technology's awesome, and it allows us to do a lot. But I think we gotta be a little bit just like mindful about it. Just recognize it a bit. Put it down once in a
Yeah,
while.
for
Throw it on
sure.
airplane mode. You're not gonna die. Things aren't. Somebody said it on the podcast previously, and it was like I forgot who brought it up. Some comedian, maybe it was Aziz Ansari or something, said like, if you don't go on Facebook for a day or Instagram or whatever, do you like do you print out everything that happened like the last day or the last 30 days and go review it later? Like was it that important? No. Nothing fucking really matters. You just move on like all right, whatever. It's just interesting. I don't know why this topic just interests me. It's just the power of social media. It's I've had to be on it a lot more because of the podcast. So I'm kind of finding it seep into. I'm checking it all the time. I'm in the lineup at the grocery store. I'm like, why not check Instagram? Why not post this on my story? Why not engage with people? Why not try to, get more followers, get more likes, get more validation almost,
There's always something to do on your phone, you know?
always something to do, man. And I always feel like I'm not doing enough. I'm like, I should send out a tweet. You follow me on Twitter. I should, maybe I should get TikTok. Everyone's talking about TikTok. I should use
I
TikTok.
wish I hopped on TikTok.
Dude, TikTok is a wave, bro. I barely understand it though. I'm on there just like I feel like a grumpy old man, just trying to figure out like what are these kids doing.
Do you make TikToks or just
I do know. I pretty much just repurpose
okay.
videos that I use on like
Instagram?
Instagram and just kind of maybe change them up a little bit and put it on TikTok. But I feel like I need to have it like time dedicated to making TikTok videos. Even though they don't take much time to make, you got to be kind of creative.
No, you gotta be cringy, I feel, on
You got to be
TikTok.
cringy. You got to be weird. Like you got to be lip syncing the music and excuse me. You got to be doing like weird shit like pointing at different things and like words popping up on the excuse me. But I don't really get TikTok yet. I just see a lot of old memes and old things coming back and people getting clout off TikTok now and that kind of stuff. And I see people like Gary Vaynerchuk really using the platform, like he's doing it right, but he's also got a team, and I see 12-year-old kids making hilarious videos. Some of these are actually funny. Like I'm chuckling at my phone. I'm laughing. Like this is great. Like you actually made me like die laughing. This is great. I just spit my water out. Like this is great. And then others I'm like, ugh,
I
I
don't
gotta delete the
understand.
app.
How's this blowing up? What's
Yeah, this is so bad. And then there's the whole like ear rape, like these weird like SpongeBob meme tracks that just get like volume to the max and break your speakers
those are my
kind of.
favorites.
Those kill me. I'm dying at these. I'm like, this is the content I signed up for. This is random as fuck. People like that. There's a sports side. You know, people making like crazy videos of, and you saw this before with Vine. Vine had that going for a little bit before it died, but TikTok's cool, man. Like, I don't want to disrespect it because it's the next wave, right?
It's the biggest thing right now,
I
I'd
think
say.
there's like 80 million new users or something crazy, or maybe 800. You have to check my numbers, but like a ridiculous amount of user base and young. And if you have any kind of business or platform where you're trying to grow, that's gonna be your target market. So if you don't understand them now, like you know what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
the weirdest thing about TikTok is my videos that have done the best have nothing to do with my podcast. Like they're just the most random. Like I'll put it up there because I'm trying to just experiment and see like what do people like random bullshit. Like just random like little like there's a video I was recently in Boston and I was at a Celtics game and I just zoomed in on like this tall ass motherfucker Taco Fall come onto the court and just the crowd going crazy and I'm like I didn't think it was a good video at all, but it was just like a 10-second like oh shit Taco zoom in on him and like people around me going crazy and I'm like whatever, like it's not really a good video, has nothing to do with my content. I don't even really watch that much basketball. It just means nothing to me, but I'm gonna post it. Bro, it did better than any clip I posted of this, like us talking or anything. People don't care. I was like, what do I have to do? Like zoom in on my face and make like weird like memes? It's like I don't know, man. I don't get it.
I
Uh,
feel like it's hit or miss of everything these days.
it is, man. You just gotta experiment. Um, but yeah, man. What would be your favorite social media of everything that you're on and you use?
Instagram's definitely my focus, but my favorite is Unsplash. It's an app strictly like for
Unsplash.
yeah, it's an app strictly for photographers. There's like no selfie bullshit, no like
My food.
yeah, there's no well, there are food
Oh
pictures,
yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah,
high quality. There's no
yeah, yeah.
like there's no shit. There's no videos that are shitty. It's just like high end quality content that's like free to use for everyone. So say I put a picture up, anyone's free to use that for like cover art or like just like business just stuff like that, you know. But my first post actually on there blew up. It got like 600,000 views and like 1,200 downloads and shit. Like it's, I gained a couple followers from it. People are like using it as cover work and
That's
music
awesome.
background. It was
That seems a lot more pure for the photographer, like as opposed to Instagram, which is made everyone a photographer.
yeah.
Essentially, if you're a real photographer, you must cringe a lot at a lot of the things you see. Like, you put two filters on that? Did you need two? Like, we could already see you put one. That's funny, man. Uh, I felt like before that, like I don't know much about this one, but like, didn't people use Flickr a lot more to post kind of just like footage or sorry photos and stuff? I don't know what happened to that one, but
I think Flickr's still around. People were on there. I never hopped on it.
okay.
I used it a lot to view. I like graffiti. I like the graffiti scene a lot. So a lot of like the artists I enjoyed like looking at posted a lot on Flickr because I think you could like post in albums there.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So so I was on there a lot, but like not posting. I was just like
Consuming.
I was just viewing it. Not even, I didn't even have an account. I was just there.
That's cool. Um, yeah, like is there anything else about photography like you really want to touch on? To me, one of your coolest photos was with you with a pumpkin on your head. I want to hear that story before we finish off here. If you can believe it, we've already hit an hour.
Really.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. But like, yeah, to talk to me anything photography that we haven't really touched on yet.
But yeah, let's talk about that pumpkin shot.
Yeah, yeah.
That's one of my favorite shots, but people like don't look at it as like like one of my like one of my top
Oh, that's the
shots.
goat.
I
That's
like
that one caught my eye. It's like
uh,
this is hilarious.
yeah, that pumpkin cost me like 60, $80. I went out in the country. I went like searching in Ottawa for a big ass pumpkin, and
It'll fit
everyone
your
just got these
head.
like medium ones. I'm like, nah, nah, nah. So I went out in like Russell, like in the cornfields. I was like, they gotta have one, and I found one. Um, God bless my mom. She drove me all the way to looking for a pumpkin. Um,
Did she get it?
yeah, she got it for me.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. Did she understand what you were trying to do?
No, she thought it was a waste of money. She's like, you're getting a $6 pumpkin for one Instagram picture?
You're like,
But
Mom, you don't understand.
but yeah,
This is gonna blow up.
so I brought it to the spot, and I'm like, wait, how the hell am I gonna carve this thing? And then somehow, some reason, I had a butter knife in my school bag. I don't know why, but
Nice.
like I made it work. And then I put a plastic bag in the pumpkin. Like obviously, I got rid of like what I
Yeah.
could, and then I put a plastic bag in, put it on my head, and that shit weighed like I thought my neck was gonna snap. That was
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question, man. How do you keep a pumpkin like that on your
it was a
head?
lot of bounce. You could see me in the shot, like almost like leaning backwards, like.
God, imagine explaining that
A
to
lot of
the
people
ER
think
doctor. Like, yeah, so wanted this Instagram pic. Mom helped me buy this pumpkin. Oh, that's funny, man.
But yeah, a lot of people thought that pumpkin was like photoshopped and not real.
I did at first.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Really?
At
Until you
first,
seen the second shot of me kicking it, huh? You're like, wait,
I
wait a
didn't see
minute.
that. I didn't
Oh,
see that,
okay.
but I saw that. Like, I really looked at it. And I'm like, nah, this motherfucker put a pumpkin on his head. Like, after looking at the rest of your photos, I'm like, yeah, you really do this. Like, you really stand in front of trains and you really go. Tell me about that shot a bit.
Oh, the train?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
the train's like that's probably my scariest like experience. Like not even a rooftop, not even a crane, not even like a bridge, but like just I don't know. It had like high end security, like airport security. Like the fence was like not motion censored, but like movement censored. Like if you would touch it, they would see like that was like on the southwest of the fence or whatever.
Okay.
But there's like flaws in the building that they'll obviously fix over time because it's new. Um, but yeah, just going in that building was like probably the scariest thing I've done so far. It's like one of the only times where I actually wore like a mask over my face. Uh, so
Just to
yeah,
protect yourself.
we didn't even get a shot. It was just for the experience. Well, we got a couple of shots, but like more like phone backgrounds, like like just
Oh, that's crazy.
just like phone backgrounds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you went past the fence, though.
Yeah, we went all the way in. We went in the trains. We were full balls in there. Yeah,
In the trains.
in the train.
You could just open the door.
Oh, the doors are open. Like there's a fence. Like
Okay.
there's a fence and then two trains there. So that
That's so funny.
and we ended up like finessing it.
That's legendary.
There's a lot of cameras, a lot of active workers. It was a quick in and out.
You kill me, man. You've done some insane shots. I encourage everybody to go follow this guy, Ions the Goat, on Instagram. I'm looking right now and I just see hype shit. Just hype shit everywhere. There's one where you're just like feeding a cow or like. Is that
Oh,
a
the
goat?
the goat. Yeah, the goat shot. I need to get a goat again. For Christmas. I want to get a goat, dress it up as a reindeer. I wanted to do it last year, but I didn't have enough time to because the idea came late. But this year I'm planning because I'm not gonna do a Halloween shot this year because I can't top last year's.
Okay.
There's no way I could top a pumpkin on my head.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But well, we had an idea actually. Alex and I shout out Discover.Ottawa on Instagram. This guy's a legend, craziest guy I know.
Legend. Shout out
Um,
Alex.
But yeah, he had an idea zip lining across like building the building as like a Batman, like in a Batman suit.
Oh, that's
Or
gangster.
some dumb shit as a Minecraft character or something. Like just something like crazy.
That's awesome, man. I'd love to see that, man. I ride with it. I'm gonna come through to one of these shoots with you, bro. I want to be there. I just don't want to get arrested or nothing. But
And we don't think about that until after. We're like, holy shit, we
Well-
could have got arrested. Oh well.
well, that's one thing you
We did
mentioned.
it.
That's one thing you mentioned to me before. Is like one of the things you're most proud of is that you don't have a criminal record. You've never got caught slipping doing any of this stuff.
Yeah, the biggest thing I'm proud of is like when we do rooftopping and like going in construction sites, we will never like break a door or like a window to get on the roof. Like if we can't open the door using the skills and tools we have, we will not like we won't kick the door, we won't touch it. We'll just walk away, take the L, go to the next building. There's hundreds of other buildings we could
Yeah,
get
yeah,
on
yeah.
top of if
I respect the code, fam. I like the
yeah.
code.
There's a lot of like rooftop photographers that they're roofless. They'll just blast that door down, you know. But that's one thing I'm proud of is, respecting the door and
Yeah,
just
yeah. We'll trespass, but we'll do it without doing any harm. I like that
yeah,
a lot.
exactly.
I respect that. Yeah. Before I let you go here, man, are there any other passions that you wanted to discuss before we get off and do the lightning round? I know you mentioned soccer was something that you cared about a lot. Is that something that's still part of your life?
I tried playing soccer last year. I tried getting into like a random like just every Thursday
Like a league, a men's league?
yeah, like a shitty co-op men's league or whatever. So I ended up buying like $600 cleats. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get into it. Yeah, I want to get fit. I'm lazy, and I'm like, nah.
Fuck
I
that.
played it for a month, and I'm like, man, my team.
$600
I'm like,
cleats.
my team stinks. And then, because I was taking it serious, and like they were like the players would get mad and shit. I'm like, this ain't for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna ruin their fun for me like going all out. So I'm like, whatever. It's done. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I played provincial soccer for a couple of years
Yeah.
for Gloucester Hornets.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. Uh, Before I let you go here today, I want to ask you a few lightning round questions. I really enjoyed this, by the way. This is awesome.
That's where I spit out one answer quick, like
Yeah, go
first
for
thing
it.
that comes to my mind, right? That's lightning.
I mean, it should be, but it's not
People
that.
people take their time.
People take their time. Just
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try.
try to answer the question. That's all I ask. Some people can't even do that. So if you could do that, I'm happy. What's the most legendary console game ever created in your eyes?
Black Ops 3.
Black Ops 3. Would you rather lose a social media page with 10 million followers or lose $100,000?
$100,000.
Oh yeah, okay. I mean, I thought I knew the answer to that, true, but because with a 10 million
Yeah,
account, you could make that money.
I'll make that back in 2 days.
Yeah, facts. That was a bad. I was gonna put $1 million, but I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if many people. That was like a just experiment question for me. Of all your photos, if you had to choose one, your favorite shot of all time, and you kind of already touched on it, which would it be?
My favorite one would be the bus one with the OC transfer.
Oh, it's moving in motion.
Yeah,
That one's really cool.
That's
man.
one of my favorites. It was simple. There wasn't much to it. It was nice.
I like that one. I like that. What's your favorite book or podcast or article or quote or something that you really fuck with?
A book, Broke Millennial. I enjoyed reading that.
Broke Millennial. All right, I gotta add that to the list. What is the worst piece of advice you've been given or you hear people giving out there?
Damn, I don't know if I could answer worst piece of advice.
Yeah, people like advice that you hear spouted around that sounds okay, but is actually not great advice. Whether it be to gamers or designers or photographers, whatever you're into.
I feel like the worst advice is like copying, like saying like someone copying another person. I feel like that's the worst advice. Is like
Yeah,
say if I told you just copy another podcast.
yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, I feel like that's the
Be
worst
you.
advice.
Then what's the best piece of advice you've gotten?
Be creative.
Be creative.
Just do what no one's done.
I love it, man. Ion's the GOAT. Ion the Explorer. Ion's the fucking man, bro. Thank you for coming out today. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. And just remember, it's not that deep.
Not that deep. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, brother. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. Ions is a super interesting guy, and we got to talk about things that I really don't know much about. So I hope you learned something. And if you enjoyed this kind of content, please subscribe, leave a rating, comment, share. And if you want, please contribute to my Patreon page. Remember, it's not that deep.